Cross live to our reporter, Catherine Norris-Trent. She joins us from Dubai. Now, Catherine, evacuation flights are moving ahead, but with quite a bit of backlog. What's happening there?
Yeah, it seems the flights are starting to pick up again now out of Kabul's military airport to either bases here in the UAE or in Qatar. And there has been, as you say, a lot of backlog. The big US Air Force base in Qatar, the Al Ubaid base, had been crammed full of people who'd been evacuated from Afghanistan and was really operating at more than maximum capacity there. Of course, doesn't usually house refugees, but people were really in great number there. They're being rehoused, we're told, elsewhere in Qatar. They say they've had taken a group of 300 schoolgirls away. They've taken some 200 journalists who were under threat. So, things are moving, but there's clearly been problems in terms of getting people onto flights, getting those flights moving, and coordination between the United States Air Force and its various NATO allies. We've been speaking off the record to some French sources who'd expressed frustration with the fact that they'd been vetting people, telling them to come to the airport, and then they weren't getting past some of the US checklists either. So clearly it's a very difficult logistical operation. There have been backlogs, and it does look like things are moving again now.
And why is it still so hard to get to the Kabul airport?
There's a huge crowd that's outside some of the entrances of Kabul airport where there are Taliban checkpoints, along the way. People have to get through those, which is clearly very nerve-wracking and dangerous for some of them. The Taliban pictured there holding not only guns but whips or sticks for hitting some of the crowd. And then there's just the quantity of people who are now amassed in front of the airport, and the filtering system has been pretty non-existent, we understand from sources on the ground, so that you had to push your way through to the front of this crowd of perhaps 10,000 people, some observers say, and it's under the blistering hot sun. There have been kind of crowd movements, crushes, stampedes. There are reports that there are even casualties down there in the crowd. One local person I spoke to told me that some people were saying up to 8 people had been died in the crush, and the fact that they're waiting around in the sun in these very, very difficult conditions indeed.